Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 8th edition of the She in a Shell series organized by Bulgarian Center of Women in Technologies. As many of you who already has been on one of our events might know, in this format, we are inviting female leaders in the digital industry to share their experience and hopefully to encourage more women to choose career in digital industry or to grow on their leadership path. And this evening, my guest is Lilia Mesechkova, who has been in the last 3 years a senior director software engineering in Progress, and also she was and she still is part of the Progress leadership team in Bulgaria. Just this week, Lilia was announced Vice President Products in the corporation. And eventually, this is the first public event she is participating. So, Lilia, we are very pleased to have you with us tonight.
But thanks for having me.
With a pleasure. And maybe before we starting our discussion, it's fair to say a few words about you and your career. Lilia has a little bit more than 15 years of experience in the tech industry in creating digital business solutions, as also leading global teams for development. And she has achieved so far very strong business results. She was leading in Progress a team of more than 120 software engineers, product managers, and UX designers. And as she said just before we officially started the program, till last year she was managing one product on a global basis, the development, the strategy, and she was credited the trust of the company to get the responsibility for 4 products, which are the backbone of the Progress product portfolio. And Lilia joined Progress in 2011, and beforeward she was working also in other global companies. What eventually is not visible in her professional career is that also she is married with 2 young girls. And when we were preparing for this meeting, the youngest one was jumping around her. So I'm extremely pleased to have Lilia with us tonight, and curious and impatient for the dialogue, as you most probably are also. And maybe just to explain the title of the meeting tonight, why we invited her to be a guest lecturer on the topic Women Helping Women. Last year, she was awarded a prestigious yearly Stevie Prize for Women in Business in the US, exactly in the category Women Helping Women. And this is also a basis for my question, first question. Lilia, tell us more about the project that Stevie Prizes recognize and let you get this recognition.
Sasha, thank you first for this great introduction. And starting with the project and the recognition, I think there were 2 main aspects for this. One was the impact that I had throughout the years on the organizations that I was leading. And the other aspect was around the knowledge sharing that I started a few years ago in our local community and in the broader Progress team in terms of helping women advance in their career, overcome barriers that they face, and share my lessons learned in my journey. Throughout the years, what I found that makes a really strong team is bringing together different talents, diverse perspectives, and experience to foster innovation. This is what I truly believe in. I believe in an environment where people have open communication and feel okay to share ideas and opinions. And I also believe the way to go is for the team to be empowered to take decisions and to drive results and ultimately improvement. These are the values that I live every day, and I see the recognition and appreciation coming. And early in 2020, I became part of the Progress for Her employee resource group, which is having the mission to help women at Progress overcome barriers, have resources and access to opportunities. And as part of this group, I had the role to raise the voice of the challenges that women face, but they don't dare to talk about. So I think that this is pretty much the summary of why Stevie recognized me with the award.
Well, you've been speaking now about inclusion, about diversity, the diversity in the team, and that's very important. But also coming from my personal experience in the corporate world, not necessarily women and men are progressing equally in a career, especially in a big professional community as Progress is. And can you please share what is your experience? Do you think that women and men have an equal or different starting point in their career growth, specifically in line with the sponsorship that is very much needed in accordance young talent to be identified, recognized, and supported and accompanied in the career? What's your view on this?
That's a very interesting question, and unfortunately, I believe there's a difference in the starting point, and this is for two reasons primarily. The first one is the level of confidence which women have when they're going to seek their first job. Usually, they go with lower level of confidence, no matter how well prepared they are, because if you look at the numbers in tech industry, this is still considered to be a men's territory. But the other aspect, which is very, very important, is that women very often neglect the importance of the access to contacts and opportunities, being very focused on doing their daily work in the perfect way. So recent research from Catalyst shows that men have more often access to senior management and to mentors high in hierarchy, and that really brings them with more opportunities to learn, take more high visibility assignments, and with that to advance faster in their career in comparison to the women. So one of the discoveries that sponsorship in particular has a very critical role, especially for women to advance in their careers. They need to seek sponsorship and raise their hand for high visibility assignments where the success in execution of these assignments would be really the reason for them to progress.
I'm muting myself just for the good quality of the record. Well, that's definitely the case, but eventually we should also look on how this support system that you are talking about can be built in practical terms. For example, recently you've been announced Vice President Products in Progress, as I've mentioned at the introduction, and this is quite a high recognition for your talent. And Can you share some of the tips, some of the tactics on how one can build a support system inside the company?
Sure. Well, I don't have a definite answer to this. To be honest, it's a multidimensional thing. From one side, there's the behavior and the mindset that we have to foster collaboration, innovation across the organization. But the other aspect is what we bring to the table in terms of skill set, experience, and track record. And if you are asking what are the key aspects for you to be the preferred team member for every assignment, it is the can-do attitude, to be flexible, to work on what's most important, to be ready to optimize for the success of the entire team, the entire organization, and not for personal success. To be a reliable partner and to do what you said you would do, to be committed to learning and then knowledge sharing with the others. To me, these behaviors and this mindset, when they are lived on a daily basis, the success comes naturally. But one thing that I want to highlight as a critical importance to be in an alignment with the managers and sponsors in your organization, it is important to share your goals, what your aspirations are, and do that in a conversation with your manager so that there is awareness around that and your manager can support with opportunities and relate basically needs of the organization with your aspiration and help you advance. And the other aspect is to volunteer for high visible assignments. So the more your work is exposed to the senior management, the more likely it is to take more assignments. The more likely the senior management will be willing to take risks, giving you opportunities with things that you have never done before. So this is in summary.
Stating is so good. It looks like an easy model you to progress in career in a corporation. Although I know that this behind all those well-structured recipes, if you want, there's lots of nuances, and it is really important job that you need to do in accordance to live for yourself and create for yourself the space within the corporation to do what you love to do and to contribute in the best possible way. But let's make it a little bit more difficult for you, because in a corporate world, we have people that have common agenda, that share possibly same values, that are synchronized and aligned. And what we are trying to do in BCWT, but I think generally in the champions in the industry, is also to empower young women in the society to make a step. They may not wish to make a career in a corporation, but to start their own business. Still, they need to find the sponsorship, to have the right framework that can help them to not only introduce, to be recognized the idea, but to get support and to be implemented sustainably. What would be your view on how we can build this support system outside of the corporation? Can be at all?
Yeah, I think it can be. And first thing I would say is to have confidence in their ability and have courage to go and ask for help and offer assistance on the other side with the skill set that you have, that you can bring on the table, so that you can get the support. Be committed to learn and adapt quickly, and all these qualities will be recognized, and I believe will be recognized for people who can give opportunities. It's dare to try and put yourself in a position to ask for opportunities. And don't be afraid to be, not all the tries that you'll make will be successful. Be persistent and have faith and look for people who are like-minded. They do exist. Just search for them and you'll find your spot.
But coming back to our main topic of the discussion, many people believe that women does not support women. And I would be very happy if in our dialogue we challenge this opinion. In your experience, do you believe that female leaders are more sensitive to support talented women and to help them grow and to be mentors and sponsors in their career, or rather men do this? What do you think about this?
We all know about the queen bee syndromes, but I really like to believe that there are many women who are supporting others, and we will see more and more in the future. And for organization like yours, I'm sure this will evolve naturally and will have success. To be honest, I was in my career in a team of only women engineers, believe me or not, and that could be a very strong team. So many men support women. I've seen this, and I would say that my mentors were men for the most, but I have seen many women supporting each other as well.
I think in the same way, because we see increasing number of women that are more and more visible, and they are taking bigger responsibilities. And this unique role that eventually one can believe that you need to preserve is more and more overcome. I tend to believe the same. And still, though, we are stepping on a fragile ground, I think, in the digital industry, and we should be open about this. In the especially in the engineering teams, very often women are not only minority. Obviously, you have a different experience. And
I had once. I mean, it has not always been the same. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I have observed is that either women are trying to look like men in their behavior, in the way how they even dress themselves, just to be invisible and to be men-like. As also sometimes women in the team, no matter how talented and capable they are more in supporting roles in the development. What is your experience in that respect?
I think that in general, you have quite right observations. Many of the women like to be in this, I'm not sure whether like is the right word, but they tend to be in this supportive role. But I have also seen many women leaders in engineering. Many, when I say many, it's many from my close work, but in terms of statistics, this is still not enough. What I think is a barrier for men and women, but men tend to overcome it more effectively, is when there are times for work. Part of the work is more complex, it's more critical to be done, but there's also another type of work that needs to be done, but the complexity there is not so high. What tends to happen is that men take the more interesting, more complex things, and women are okay to go with the other aspect. And that's a struggle between senior engineers and junior engineers. I would say it's the journey of the young talent to advance. So there are times when you just need to step in and ask for more, and men tend to do this more often than women. This is my observation.
There is also another myth that I want we to challenge, and this is that when you are a developer or an engineer and you are making a big career, eventually your family private life is suffering because you are coding 24/7. And you are an example of a happily married mother of two. This obviously is another very important project that you should balance together with your professional responsibilities. Tell us more how this happened, and do you see any limitations because of your family life in what you're doing professionally?
I think there is a challenge all the time balancing work and personal life. But it's two things are very important there. First is to really want to balance and seek for ways and be creative. But the second part is to have a true partner in this journey at home who can basically make trade-offs, and then you make trade-offs from times to times in order to balance in the long run, not in the short run. But I can share from my experience that when there is a desire to balance, productivity can get really high. I remember there were times when I had to take my older daughter, she was at age of 1, no, maybe 2, I needed to pick her up from the children garden at 5:30, and I had for 30 minutes to do something very important to enable the team to move on. And that was a complex problem, and for 30 minutes I solved it because I needed to go and pick my kid from the kindergarten, and I think these types of time sensitivity, but also excitement about what you're doing and time pressure, just people get creative of how they approach things, and it's part of the charm of the work. So people need to be creative to find the balance. Sometimes you make trade-offs, but in the long run, you just need to pay attention of how much time you dedicate to one thing versus another and how to do it more effectively.
So what you say is that mobilization and balancing thing and you organize yourself better is part of the agenda. So obviously COVID confronted all of us with that needs to balance our work-home agenda even more effectively working remotely. And we cannot speak about COVID as everybody else. So my question is, does this situation where everybody is at home at the moment changed in certain way not only your professional habits to be full-time remote, but which eventually had also experience before about this, but also in terms of the home responsibilities and how you reorganize with your partner, with the children, the space and also time together?
Yeah, it took us a while, like for everybody else, to make a home organization where everyone has their own space to do what they need to do, but also to have a work agreement of who and when can get an attention and support when needed. I think we are pretty good at this point now. But kids and my husband is helping me a lot. I really appreciate it. As part of COVID, I appreciated the time with the kids, the fact that I could see how they're learning and progressing and be part of this process. I really appreciated that I had the chance because we missed that when we are working, and I could combine this. So that was my really positive side of what was happening in the grand scale. But from professional life, what I was really missing was the social element, because historically I've been very, and I'm very intuitive person, and I rely on first-hand interaction with people to get a sense of what's going on, and really to be hand in hand in the battle and solve real big problems. This is something that energizes me. This is what keeps me motivated and making me wanna do more. That aspect didn't exist under COVID, so we had to find other ways to fill that gap. And different tools help to a certain degree, but still this is one of the aspects that I miss the most. And it's still trying different ways to overcome it. I hope the hybrid mode at some point will ease the situation.
We all are hoping and praying about this, because obviously these small screens where you see people two-dimensional is not good enough in accordance to get this inspiration that the personal exchange is giving. But that's the situation we are living with it. And before opening for the questions also from the audience, I have one final from me. What will be your advice to the she leaders of tomorrow, being a she leader of today?
Sure. So one is to be more confident in what they can do and to take ownership for their future, to be brave to prove when someone is wrong, to be committed to learning, and to seek for support, and when they find it, to make sure they deliver on what they promise, to do their best to deliver what's best possible, because people who support you put their reputation at risk if you don't do so. So dare to try and use the natural female talent that comes with empathy and care and drive and energize. Use these tools. These are really the hidden strengths.
And weapons.
And weapons, yes, and weapons.
Okay, thank you very much for this inspirational insight on what the women that wants to reach your level of responsibilities, but also the inspiration to manage a bigger agenda can do. And now I want to invite the people that are with us to ask your questions to Lilia. And you can do it in the chat. You can do it also in the Facebook for those who are following us on the Facebook, or just switch on your camera and unmute yourself and ask directly. That's a very informal meeting, and we'll be happy to have a bigger group together with us here. And while you are thinking and preparing your questions, I want to ask Lilia one more. How you see your future? I know that this is a very difficult one, as only 2 days ago you've been announced in big new responsibilities, but if for a moment we leave this where you are today, what you would do in the next 5-10 years, how your imagination and dreams are moving ahead?
That's a great question. I see two things I want to see happening. I want to see products that I'm currently leading be successful, and the teams behind these products be successful and really be proud with what they're doing. From personal aspect, I would love to learn more about how the world is working, how the tech industry is working, how we need to change to respond to the new demand. I'd also want to see my girls be ready to take challenges in the area that they decide to, but really be brave to pursue their dreams and have the skill set to help them do what they're looking to do.
For this, you can be sure, because we don't realize, especially when we are busy with professional stuff and make big career, how children are following us and they learn by this example. I can share this from my own experience. So when I was younger, I sometimes was felt guilty that I have not enough time to spend with my daughter. But over the time, I've realized that spending good quality time with a child is okay for really charging the need for exchange for both sides, but also translating those values, because children does, in my view, and I'm happy to hear also your opinion, children does not necessarily wants to have their mom next to them all the time. They just want to be proud and to see that both the mother and the father are happy people and decent people, and they have a life that is satisfactory for them. And through this, we can help them to grow as people that have the freedom to choose what they want to do.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree that we need to be their role model. They like to copy paste us, even in their own way with their modifications. But yeah, they like to see happy and successful people and then draw their imagination for what's possible for them.
Yeah. So I also find one good thing about the digital media channels, because this makes it easier also for other young people, and maybe not only the young people, to really connect and get inspiration from the experience and the wisdom of people that eventually they cannot necessarily meet easily in a personal way. And that's a good, the other good side effect of
COVID.
Us being at the moment more or less full-time digital, because this gives us a very big choice of connecting and getting closer to people that we would love to know closer. And hopefully this event is also contributing in that area.
Yeah, I hope so as well. And yeah, my observation is that people have now much more access to events like this, and the knowledge sharing is expanding in a good way.
Yeah. Well, I don't see questions in the chat, and maybe we covered what was of interest tonight, and being sensitive about the time of everybody these days. We spend hours and hours before the computers. I will close this meeting with the wish to have a chance soon to have a meetup in person, and to invite everybody also to have an exchange. I was about to close, and the question came. So this is for Dinara Doyle. This was very helpful and inspiring. Thank you both, Lilia and Sasha, for the conversations. Congratulations, Lilia, on your promotion and being such an amazing role model for your children and future generation. So what else I could add to Dinara's excellent comment? Lilia, thank you very much for being co-pilot in this good discussion, and we'll stay in touch to follow and maybe to co-create opportunities for more women. I'm pretty sure that there are many out there that would be happy to get this support and inspiration on their path to the leadership and in the career.
Thank you, Dinara, and thank you, Sasha, for having me this evening. It was a pleasure for me. I'm looking forward to see more and more of this engagement happening.
Okay, bye-bye, and thank you for everybody being with us tonight. And we'll see each other again in a month. So,
thank you.
Thank you, Lilia.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.